Alright, hey guys, and welcome back to another video. As you all know, I like to open up a nice variety of TCGs on this channel, and keeping up with that tradition, I've got a brand new one for you. One I've been looking forward to now for a good 7-8 months plus, and that is Elestrals. This is a brand new TCG that finished up its Kickstarter late last year in December. It raised $1.5 million. The creator is aDrive. Some of you may know him. He's a pretty big Pokemon content creator. I didn't really know aDrive too well until he started promoting and getting ready to launch Elestrals, and I really believed in this TCG, both in the direction of the art and the collecting, and also in the playability, and we're going to get into it, a lot of the reasons why I think Elestrals has a very promising future ahead of it as we get to opening here. But what I've got here, what we're going to be opening in this video, is I've got a booster box. As you can see, it's very pretty, very reflective, very foily. I picked out one starter deck, and I've got my sleeves so we can sleeve up any of the foil pulls, and then we'll save this for the end of the video, maybe depending on how long it goes, but I do have an artist collection pack, which is a bunch of alternate art from the artists that worked on the cards in this set. So what do you say we get cracking here? This box, I did pick up a lot of goodies for this. I got like the binder, I got a couple plushies, you know, I got more than what you see here, but I plan on this being sort of a long-term product for the channel, so I will be opening a lot more Elestrals in the future. Oh, and I got one more goodie. Actually, we'll open that up after we've opened up a few packs here, but I've got something also really special to open up for my unboxing. My first time ever opening Elestrals here. So I have not seen any of these cards in person. We've got a void sticker here. Look at this box though, by the way. Absolutely beautiful. That's one of the reasons I wanted to back this, because I could tell that aDrive really wanted to put in extra work on the quality on this TCG. As you can see, it's even the box. So you're gonna notice something about the inside of this box that immediately is gonna kind of surprise you, because most TCGs do not take that route. Now, the number one thing here that everybody's hoping for, and as of making this video, it has still not been pulled, there is serialized box toppers for Pen Terrors, the box topper card. Only 10 have been made, and nobody has pulled them yet as of making this video. It's going to be a black dragon if we got the serialized, and of course it isn't. You don't actually expect to get that card, but if it was, it would be numbered 1 to 10 down here, and he would be colored black instead of white. But this is kind of an indication of what to expect here. Obviously, we're going to get into the influences on Elestrals as we open these cards. But yeah, what I'm going to do is, oh yeah, see, here you go. Look at this, colored insides on the flaps. Even the insides down here, as you can see, it's not just a plain white box. It's actually got coloring inside. I mean, definitely took it a step above what you would typically expect from a first-time launch of a TCG. Now, I bought this to collect, but also, I'm going to put the box off to the side here just so I have a bit more room. I also bought this to play, and one of the reasons for that is because this game launched, and I was very impressed by the fact that it launched with a app, like a mobile app, which I thought was really cool because you don't typically see TCGs do that. So you can learn to play online against other people, as well as through the physical card game as well. So let's see how this feels without doing any kind of card trick at first. So as you can see here, we've got different types. We've got electric types, and I did make sure to familiarize myself with how to play the game so that as I open these cards, I can kind of give you guys brief explanations as to, you know, what we're looking at in terms of stats. In terms of card quality, something that has been boasted by a lot of people, and the creator himself, is that he used a very high card stock. And let me just see if I have a Pokemon card here off to the side so we can compare. I'm just going to grab just a random one, no particular one by any means, but here is a Pokemon card, and I'm going to apply the same amount of pressure to the cards, right? So that's the same, pretty much the same amount of pressure. Look at how much that Pokemon card bends. These are very rugged, very thick cards. The card stock feels good. In terms of comparing it to a Pokemon card, it makes a Pokemon card feel very cheap in comparison. I'm going to be honest. You can see the gloss level is definitely a bit glossier than Pokemon, but this feels like a cheap, flimsy, 1 penny card, which is essentially what these are worth these days. Not saying that these won't, you know, be worth not too much more, because let's face it, you know, a lot of people are going to be pulling these cards, but it does, at least quality-wise, feel extremely good compared to Pokemon. which leaves a nice first impression. So let me just break this down. We'll break it down for you, I guess, on this or the next card. Let's do the next card because P-Gust is kind of cute. So this is the attack, this is the defense, this is the cost here. You'll see between 1 and 3 of these to summon the card, essentially enchant the card into play. Giving you just very basic rundown here. So this is sort of the cost, and the thing that you use to play these cards are resources that are both your life and your mana. It's essentially like everything in one. It's your life total, it's your mana, it's what you use to pay for cards. Everything's rolled into a resource that's like a side deck. You have your ability explanation, and then the rarity is indicated here, so just so you can kind of see the rarities. Uncommons are this sort of like unconnected diamond down here, and then those are the commons. Sorry, those are the commons. And then I think the uncommons use this one that's sort of connected. You can see it forms a full diamond. Okay. Ooh, we got a foil to start us off. We'll see what that is. Oh, nice. Well, that's a good way to start. Apparently, this is one of the better cards in the game. Really good foil to pull. And I will have my critiques about this because I have been watching other people pull cards. And I have been noticing certain things that I'm not the happiest with. And we'll get into that. But for now, let's just focus on the basics of the cards here so you guys kind of have an idea of what we're looking at. Let me just open up my sleeves so that we have... Now, as you can see, the sleeves will come with 20 cards. That's for your side deck of spirits, and then this is for your main deck. I might get some terminology wrong. I do apologize. I'm not an expert at this. I haven't even played it yet. But I just wanted to make sure that I watched both tutorial videos. So I watched like an hour's worth of tutorial videos altogether to at least have a basic foundation of how the game is played for you guys before we made this video. I might choose to sleeve some of these off stream just so that, or off recording so it doesn't take too long, but there we go. That's what it looks like in the sleeve. Quite nice. The foil effect on here, as you can see, actually has the Elestrals symbol in the background there. But we will definitely address the elephant in the room soon. I'm sure you all know what that might be. And then these are the spirits. This is your life and also your mana. Like, you use these things for everything, essentially, to do different things in the game as you play. I guess we'll leave the foils there. Alright, so let's talk about Pokemon, right? This is very obviously heavily inspired by Pokemon. The creator acknowledges this, aDrive acknowledges this, and it's because, well, he's a huge Pokemon fan. And I understand it. It's okay for people to use their, major influences, their passions, to make their own projects. Just because these cards, some of them, ooh, love the colors on this. That is a nice deep colorization on these cards. Is definitely not too washed out, not too dark here. That is, love the rainbow effect that they got going on here. They it's going to be heavily influenced visually by Pokemon, and I think that's okay as long as you take the game in your own different direction. And based on the tutorial that I watched, I do think that is going to be the case for this. So like this as an example, Globby is, it does straight up just look like a Pokemon, right? It looks like it could be in the Pokemon universe. But the good thing about this too is it already brings in a fan base of people that may really like Pokemon and like the designs of these cards. And I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that. The gameplay, I think, will help differentiate it. Oh, I was going to mention too, if I got a full art, which one would I want? And I was actually going to say this one. Majesty. So you get one full art per box. I mean, look at this. I pulled out one starter deck to open. I picked the Majesty because I do actually really like this full art. You can actually see the difference here. Like, you can see the art on the full art on the starter deck compared to the art on the card. The art on the card is actually fantastic. And this is a very nice indication actually of how the foiling is handled on these cards. So once again, this card would cost 3 here. You can see it's a rare because it's got that dot in the center there. 6 attack, 14 defense. Actually, let's see what the effect is, because now that I actually have an idea of how the game plays, we'll see what it actually does. This Majesty gets +1 attack for each enchanting water spirit on your field. Enchanted Elestrals cannot be targeted by an opponent Elestral effect. Quite strong. That, based on my limited knowledge of the game, that does seem quite strong. I know I said I wouldn't, but I will sleeve this up because it is the full art. Now, here's one of my complaints. You only get one full art per box, and I actually would have preferred if full arts weren't guaranteed, so that there is a chance that you might get 2, potentially even 3 full arts in a box. I would just wish that the boxes were randomized a bit better. And I say that because almost every opening that I have watched has been always people get 12 hollows. And some people are pulling hollow heavy top, like the top half of their booster box is hollow heavy. So once you pull 12 hollows, you know almost like 100%, it's like 99.9% because it's not supposed to happen. You're not supposed to get more than 12. That the rest of the box is not going to have a hollow card. So every pack you open is not going to have a hollow. As you can see, you're not guaranteed to get hollow cards, despite my luck so far. I think I'm 2 for 2, right? So, love Zephyrog here. Oh man, that's apparently like the best card in the game. So it's nice to get this. A play set is 3 cards. You could have 3 cards in of each card in your deck. And this looks beautiful. That is... I've been waiting to see what the foil would look like on Elestrals, and I have to say in person this looks way more impressive than I was anticipating. What I love what they do with the foil is they actually extend it past the border of the card here. It's actually really nice. It adds a nice little flair and effect to the card. Makes it feel a little more flashy, if you will. So yeah, we won't sleeve everything. We will put that off to the side. So as you can see, we're getting a very foil-heavy box here. So it is potentially possible that my first 12 packs will be all hollows, because I will say another thing I have seen is that the randomization has not been the best. Some people do a pack trick. We put one to the front this way. Oh, well, there it is. Maybe I did the wrong pack trick. I don't know. But you also get 1 foil spirit per box. So these little guys, you get an alternate art foil version of that. Or I can't remember if it's alternate art. It actually might just be the regular art, but foil. No, actually, no. It is alternate, I believe. Like I said, I'm still learning all the ins and outs of this, but this is my 1 foil spirit card that I get for the box. I will sleeve that because these tend to be the more valuable cards from what I've seen. The cards that you only get 1 of per box, because the kicker is that card, you can have 20 of it in your deck. So if you're playing a deck that focuses on fire, as you can imagine, and you really like this foil version of this card, guess what? You could potentially, build a deck of 20 of these, and if you're only getting 1 per booster box, and there are 5 different ones that you can get in this first set, it can get out of hand pretty quickly. But we will check through these, because you never know. You might get an error pack. There are God packs, there are 10 of them, which contain a bunch of foils and different stellar cards, which is the next thing that I wanted to get into. So the stellar cards are serialized cards. There are just under 1,300 of them, and each one is numbered to 99. The odds to get a stellar card, so it's sort of like, think of it as a Pokemon shiny, where Pokemon, it'll have different colors, and the same thing in Elestrals, they call it a stellar. So it'll be an Elestral that has, a different card in the set. That's pretty, easy to pull. But the stellar is a super rare card that, as of right now, people are estimating is about 1 in every 15 booster boxes. Quite difficult to get your hands on. So if I were to pull one in my first box here, that would be absolutely insane. It will look even more special. The foiling on it is different than other foils. It'll look even more speckly. I love the art on this Ash Rabbit. If you will notice, a lot of the names on these cards actually are very pun-like. Oh boy, it looks like we do have a very top-heavy foil booster box here. And, oh man, another card that I really like. There is an alternate art of this in like the Founders, or the... I can't remember if it was in the Artist Collection pack or the Founders promo pack, but Cracking looks awesome. Giant octopus squid thing with a really cool effect. I know I'm going to make a deck with this for sure, where you can sort of like lock your opponent out from playing cards onto the field. You just lock the slots out. Love the idea. I love playing decks like that. So we're hoping that we get an Elestral. It is definitely never expected. It's not something that you expect to happen, because the chances are just so rare. You can get them in any product. You can get them in the blister packs, you can get them in the booster boxes, obviously, and you can get them in the starter decks, but we'll get into the starter deck at the end of the video, because it actually works a little bit differently. So let's try and pronounce some of these names so you guys can hear some of the puns. So we got Typhlant, Smoltuga, Veritaqua. Now, I have listened to aDrive Dan say a lot of these names as I watch a lot of his streams when he unboxes these, so I have a good idea. I've watched a lot of videos and streams where people are unsure how to pronounce some of the names, and I'm sure I'm going to mess some of them up, but I think I have a decent idea of how to pronounce some of these correctly. So we got Tadpuff, Ampup. Hold on, let me just making sure it's not overexposed. Looked a little bright there. All right, that's good. He looked a little washed out, but now it's better. We got Boombat. I am noticing, though, that when I first reveal a card, it's a little hard to see. Let me just turn down one of my settings real quick. You have to excuse me. Let's try that. Just looking a little too bright. Something was definitely going on there. And another Sonic Core. So this is something else that I have seen. So I've seen people pull from a booster box like 3 or 4 of the same foil. Now, of course, mistakes are going to happen. It happens, right? Nothing's perfect when it comes to TCGs. It's really hard to launch a perfect, where nothing goes wrong, Kickstarter campaign for a trading card game. In the case of this, the manufacturer didn't follow his orders to the T. He was very specific about not wanting scenarios where people can pull 4 or 5 of the same holo, or, you know, get a pack like this where the first 4 cards are all water. The randomization was messed up a little bit by the manufacturer. So it's a little unfortunate. He has decided to change manufacturers because of this. We got Aetheros. This is one of the ones that I'm really hoping I get a Stellar on. Now it's looking... Hold on, I'm going to pause the recording here. I'll be right back. I'm going to see if I can adjust the settings going on here and fix this a little bit. Give me one moment. See if I can get it to pause. Alrighty. I think my contrast setting was a little off. I think this looks a lot better, right? So this has a Stellar version numbered to 99 that just has amazing artwork, amazing colors. I really hope I get the Stellar for Aetheros if I were to get one. But happy to have that regardless, because pulling copies of foils is fine. I'm going to need 3 of each anyway if I want to build decks with foils. But yeah, as you can see here, there's something going on with the randomization of my box. And I'm not going to lie to you. It will be very tempting, once I pull 12 foils, to not continue to open up the rest of these packs. Because I know there's going to be no foils. Why would I continue to open the packs? I have more than one booster box. I can open other booster boxes and continue to have a chance at a Stellar or foils. I'm not going to have problems getting play sets of the non-foils, believe me. So, ooh, man, this is very foil heavy on the top of this box. Very interesting. This is a great card, a staple apparently. Nectar of the Gods. Draw 2 cards. So you kind of like pay 2 of a resource, and you can draw 2 cards by paying that resource. Now, the way that this game was designed was you can get any staple card very easily. They're either in starter decks as non-holo versions or easily pullable within packs. There are no cards that are going to be so dominant that would cause you to pay a lot of money to get them in your deck. So it's a very accessible game when it comes to playing, which I think is great, and I think most people would agree that that's what we would want from a TCG with a tournament scene, or just playing with people casually. For sure, you want to be able to make decks quite easily. And then you have, you know, stuff that you can put down, sort of like, I think these are stadiums where you can put it down, and it kind of buffs your Elestrals that are on the fields. Peliquarius, Saith of Demeter. Demeter is how I like to say it, in my head at least. Amphirix, very nice. Well, at least we're getting a nice spread of the foils, as you can see here. It kind of reminds me of one of the legendary birds from Pokemon a bit. Bit of a Phoenix type card. Now, I have heard a lot of people complain that there are print lines, especially on certain cards. Another thing that upset aDrive, because it, one thing I'm noticing about these cards, it almost has like it's such a matte finish on some of these. Really interesting. Actually, this card has a different texture than this one. Very interesting. Yeah, the card on my left here has a much smoother, glossier finish. This one is a lot rougher and coarser. It doesn't have that smooth finish to it. And you can even see here how one is a bit more reflective than the other. Well, maybe not. I guess it's not easy to see that. But definitely feel-wise, the front of this card, I've noticed that with the spirits, actually, some of them. It's almost like the finish on the card is different between them. Like I said, not perfect. Changing manufacturers, so the first edition set is apparently going to look a lot better. Not that these cards don't already look good. I think they look great. But the next first edition set will apparently blow this one away in terms of quality. And I'm excited to dive in, you know, not just to collect these. I'll put together my binder, my play set, try and get as many hollows as I can. Ideally, I want one of each full art eventually. That's going to be hard to do, though. And I would like, you know, a play set of 3 of each of the non-foils and some of the easier to get foils. Viserys, I think. Viserys, I believe, is how they call this one. Look at that foil. Very sparkly. But here's the thing, right? Here's the problem. How many foils do we have? This is really interesting. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Which means that the next 2 packs should be foils. And then that's it. Well, I'll even show you, like, if these next 2 packs are foils, and then the one after that is not a foil, I'm probably going to stop opening the packs there. I have actually seen people on eBay that label these packs as light packs, where they say, you know, these packs are very unlikely to be hollows. I've seen that on eBay already. People that probably run into a case like me, where you open, and then you get all your hollows up front, and then the rest of them you know is not going to be a hollow. So they sell the light packs, and, you know, some people want that. They want non-hollows for playsets and stuff, so it does kind of open up the game to be... Oh, there's Viserys again. As long as I don't get more than 2 hollows of a card in a booster box, I think I'll be okay. Boy, this certainly is an experience, though. But as I was saying, it does open up the game to be a bit more accessible for people on a budget, because if you have a bunch of people offloading light packs to eBay, I'm sure those packs are going to go way cheaper than packs that would have foils in them. So if you're just looking to get packs really cheap and don't care about the foils, well, there's your solution. Alright, so here's the deal. If this is a foil card... Oh, look how cute Kraken is. I do love the Kraken card so much, and I want the Stellar Sluggle from the starter deck I'm going to open. If this next card is foil, and then the pack after that isn't, which let me guarantee you it probably isn't going to be. We got an Aphros. Alright, so that's 12 hollows. So that is the cap. That is as much as I'm going to get when it comes to hollows. So here's our stack of cards. Cards are definitely pretty thick. Watch, this next pack, and this one's even upside down. I'm going to take this upside down pack. We're going to open it, and you'll see. It's not going to be hollow. Guarantee it. If it is hollow, then, well, I must have some kind of error box, because I don't think I've seen anybody get more than 12 hollows in a pack. Sorlet, Drataya, Rummagem, Clovey, Cocydius, Saith of Demeter, Earthquake, Ivory, and yep, that's our rare. That's our non-foil rare. Exaltair. So that would have been our hollow. So there you go. My box, my first ever box, completely front-ended with hollows. So this was one of my biggest complaints with when I was watching people open their boxes, is I think this ruins the box opening experience, and I understand it's not like aDrive wanted this to happen. It's something that the manufacturer screwed up on. Do you think you would want somebody to open a booster box, get all their hollows up front, and then know that the rest of the packs, these are 36-pack boxes, know that the rest of your 24 packs are not going to have a hollow? No, nobody would want that to happen. So this is something that can be improved. It does hamper the pack opening experience, though, I will say. It's definitely a little disappointing. Now, like I said, it's not my only booster box, but let's just hope that my other booster boxes have a bit more of a randomization to them. It's not going to turn me off. I'm still very excited. Let me just open this over here. Don't want to stab myself by mistake with this scissor. I'm still very excited for the game in general, but it is really a shame that this is what happened to some people's booster boxes. It seems to be hard to find a box that is completely 100% random and every holo you get is different. There's always something a little off. Maybe you pull one too many of a certain holo, or a box like mine where it's front-ended with holos. But anyway, we're not going to harp on it too much. I'm still very positive about the game. Hey, at least it's not like a certain other card game that I opened recently over the last year-ish. I don't remember the time frame, where every box I was opening was pretty much guaranteed to not have a hit card. But this, I can't get this open. I should have found my X-Acto blade. Let me see if I can pull this tab instead. You might know what I'm talking about if you follow my channel here, where every box I was opening had no hit cards. At least this has a hit card or two in each deck. Like these full arts, people are paying 30 plus. I see them bid up to like 60. One of them even went up to $80 for one of these full arts on eBay. So you're definitely getting your value in the full arts. Anyway, let's get back to what we're opening here. So custom-made dice with the Elestrals water logo on there. Very nice. Nice little gradient on the D20. Fun fact, I think this is like my first D20. Or at least that I can find in my collection, in my game room. I don't really play too many card games or D&D or anything like that, so I don't really have D20, so this is kind of neat. Elestrals breaking the ice for me. So we got a nice thick starter deck here. We got a rule book. Even the inside of the... Very interesting. Even the inside of the starter decks have colorization to them. Nice matte box as well. Rulebook, kind of small. Might need a magnifying glass to read it, but hey, it's included. Kind of essential, right? Alright, let's see if we can get this open without damaging the cards. Now, there is a chance, it's like a 1 in 50 chance to get a stellar from your starter deck. So it'll be the card after... Let me cut this open. It'll be the card after the front holo here for Majesty, and it will be the spirit, the little sluggle, in a holo, serialized, numbered to 99 form. The chance of getting it is extremely low, but it does make opening your starter decks very tempting because you might actually get one, and Sluggle is the one that I want the most, which is why I chose Majesty for my first opening. And these starter decks were printed based on demand, so Majesty is one that definitely had a lower demand than other starter decks, so your chance of getting the stellar foil in here is slightly better. Of course, we did not get it, but this would have been the stellar foil here if it was. Now you're just loaded with a bunch of cards to play with here, some of which are starter deck exclusives. Which ones those are, I'm not 100% sure. But as you can see here, like the Aphros, if you didn't pull foils of that, you get it in the starter deck. So I intend definitely on playing this game, and I think I'm gonna like ask some people on the Discord, like, hey, anybody else got a starter deck that hasn't played the game yet? Let's battle each other, and we'll see. We'll see how we learn the game and see how it goes. So there's our spirits all in the end. So it's like a water fire deck with a little bit of wind splashed in. So I do have the other starter decks. Every time I open an Elestrals product, I'll just break open one of the starter decks, and we'll see. You never know. We might get a stellar. So to end this video, I figured, oh no, there was that one other thing that I forgot to open. Hey, you know what? We'll do it now. I was going to open this way sooner. This is something else that came with my order for my tier on Kickstarter. This is a authenticated, slabbed prototype card signed by aDrive. I don't know what one it's going to be. I figured I'd open it on camera here. I'm hoping it's either one of the spirits or an Elestral. A rune card is fine. I mean, honestly, anything is fine, but I do hope it is a any of the Elestrals or spirits. So let's see what we get here. Okay, there's the back. Let's flip it over. Ooh, well, I guess it's fitting because Vipyro was in my first booster box. My first foil spirit. Where is he? So this is a prototype with a different holo foil pattern, which is awesome. Here he is. Look at that. And there's the aDrive signature. But I figured, hey, if Elestrals ever really takes off one day, this will be super sought after by collectors. But, you know, I will definitely be holding on to that for myself. I have no intention of selling that. But it's interesting to see how they were prototyping different holofoil patterns, as you can see there. Kind of like an ice breaking kind of look to it. Very nice. Like I said, I wanted any of the spirits or any of the Elestrals, so I'm happy to get that. Would have been awesome if it was Leviathan, because I do love water, but hey, can't complain. Alright, so before we go here, let's break open and look through this really quick. We won't go through this too slowly, but this is an artist collection pack, and these were super cheap. I think this was like, I gotta cut this open, it's kind of hard to open. I think this was like $10 for a ton of cards. I think it's like 25 cards. Yeah, 25 cards. Look at this. Look at this thick stack of holofoils. So the idea behind this was, these are different Elestrals that are in the game, but aDrive let them take like their artist take on them and give them a completely different look. So you'll see art in here. Like, look at this cracking. It's a pixel art cracking. How amazing is that? I love cracking. So he let the artists have some fun and give their personal take. Maybe it looks a bit more anime-like. Maybe it looks a bit more CG rendered. Maybe it has, you know, the pixel art. Maybe it looks just, you know, different pose. He just let the artists have fun. Like this one here looks more like a, almost like a colored pencil Metazoo kind of look to it almost. So I thought this was really fun, especially if you're playing a deck and you want to like put together a deck using your artist collection cards instead of the standards. And it gives me hope that, you know, in the future he's going to keep letting his artists have fun. We get some nice, really cool variants. Another Vipyro. That's the third variant I have of Vipyro. I think the game is telling me that I should be playing a fire deck. Look at that. Look at the foil, though. Super popping off these cards. But one thing to note, these artist cards, this is not, you know, the typical artwork that you find in the packs, right? These are special packs with special artwork exclusive to the artist collection pack, which is awesome. Definitely super worth $10. When have you ever seen a TCG Kickstarter that throws 25 holo cards at you for $10 in a custom pack? Like, what? And that's just, you know, one of the reasons I really believe in Elestrals. aDrive seems super driven to make this as good as he possibly can. You know, there's going to be bumps along the way as we experienced here, but I think in time Elestrals may kind of rise up to be one of the higher echelon indie TCGs. I don't think it'll ever compete with the big boys, and I don't think that's the goal, but I think in the indie TCG scene, I think Elestrals has a lot of potential to be one of the top TCGs, and we're going to continue to cover it here on the channel. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What do you think of the art? What do you think of the overall package? You know, what do you think of Elestrals? Is it your first time seeing it? Did you pick any up yourself? Did you pass on it? Why is that? But we'll open some more booster boxes coming up here soon. You know, we'll do it. Booster box, starter deck, see if we can get a stellar, and we'll keep going. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.